Again, I'm out of the Qs. Took 15 cents. I mean, it's lucky to get 15 cents in this area. This is really pretty weak. Again, if I was taking any more today, I'll be using Monday's expiration. This compression is it gets a killer on your on 0 DTEs. If you're trading today's expiration, the compression is a killer. So I'll switch out back to Monday again if I get set up. I mean, I've got a setup right here, but this is just too much compression here. Again, I just decided to take some profits on this little candle right there. Edward stepping a bay for a good. You did a good job this morning. Nice job, nice trading on the SPY Super System. You happy with this week's and today's results? No good. No need to be greedy, you say. Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah, I've been trading very well. I know you've been hitting them things pretty good. You tried again the SPX. That's good. Good job. All right. Good morning, Alnor. How are you? Again, this is just compression. This is all this is compression. I took a trade here as it broke down, went to yellow. Dynamic, the counter time frame momentum went bearish. Took a quick trade here. I don't like this compression, so I took my profits in here, $15 a contract, and I'm out, and I'm just watching right now. SPY again is sitting right on the 50-day moving average, and the volume's low, so we don't have any volume to really drive the market. We had a nice gap down, but other than that, not an awful lot going on. T2104 today has been pretty bearish, but now it's been bearish this morning. It's just choppy now, not really giving us any kind of tradable signals. Again, I'm out of the Qs. Took a little bit of a profit on it. Not doing much trading here today. This is a pretty slow market. The volume's weak. We had a pretty good breakdown in the market this morning with this gap down, and then a fairly good downtrend here. Again, I'm just watching here. We do have the multi-time frame momentum yellow here on the Qs. The SPY itself is right on the 50-day moving average. So again, it's yellow as well on the current time frame momentum for a short, but it's got to get below the 50-day moving average on the SPY. 50-day moving average on the SPY again right now is at 592.63, 592.63, so about 20 cents lower. And again, I prefer to trade to short the Qs if we get a breakdown here. But if the SPY gets below the 50, you can actually use that as well. This is just compression. Anybody see any short setups that we could trade for stocks, not indexes, but stocks? Yeah, Alessandro makes a very good point here. He makes more money sitting on his hands in this type of market, avoiding losses in a sideways chop. Feels like a win, and it is a win. Listen, keeping money that you would have lost is just like winning money. Gary, how is the scan and training video coming along? Yeah, I haven't done it yet. I need to make a note on that because I keep forgetting. I get several requests for different scans. Let me make a note on that. I'm sorry about that. I'll try to do one over the weekend on it. Roger, Carvana. Yeah, Carvana is a good short. That's the one I was looking at as well. Carvana is a nice short setup on the daily chart. Again, if we're looking for it to add perhaps a short position to our portfolio to offset the longs we've got. We've only got 3 longs, but again, this is a pretty decent short right here. As you can see, you see this gap fill right here that it just is right at the bottom of the gap fill. So I'd like to see it get through that particular line right there. But that's Carvana is a decent short, and it's got some room to the downside because you got a gap here and then a gap down to here. In fact, let me just pull that line down here. So it's sitting right on the gap fill. Then you got room all the way down here to the 100-day moving average. So yeah, I like Carvana. Nice look on that one, Roger. Again, the Q's still just moving sideways. This is a good time not to be trading anything, because if you're in any SPY super systems right now, all you're doing is getting time decayed to death on these things with this long compression like this. With a bounce again here. Wouldn't be surprised to see these go back to blue again here. Again, if you're going to try to take Carvana short, this is the level that you want to make sure it stays below. 213.97. Again, because that's that gap fill. Those gap fills tend to they both levels they tend to offer some important resistance. So that's where you want to see it below. You just set an alert there, like I do here. Point out to get myself a message. It's good short setup. If it hits there, and I just leave it there, and then I don't have to worry about it anymore. Market bouncing here. A decent short biotech here. IMVT. Let me see what the volume looks like in this thing. Yeah. Really low volume today. It's moving down. It's a pretty decent short setup on the IMVT. I gotta look at the options on it. It's a biotech, so the options are probably not very good. But that's a pretty good breakdown. See how it's breaking down below this strong horizontal support line, and that goes back quite a long way, and then you've got some pretty big gaps in here. So decent setup on IMVT short. I just don't know what the options look like. Again, right now I'm not touching the SPY Super Systems. This stuff is really just big compression. Now we're getting a bounce in the Qs. Just went back to blue, breaking above the VWAP. So again, this could be traded long if it confirms here. What you're looking for is a long to get back up to where it opened at, basically about 526, and then you get the gap fill up here to about 529. IMVT only has monthly options. Spreads are very wide, of course, with any biotech. Trading at 24.27. $25 puts are about $1.85 by 205. So $27 puts are 310 by 360. That's not too bad. That's got 273 of intrinsic value built into that. That's not bad. No volume on these things though. No volume. It's terrible. Not going to touch it. Watching the Qs here as they bounce. And SPY as well bouncing here. SPY hasn't got to the VWAP yet, but the Qs have. So again, these are, the market's bearish today. It's down quite a bit. So again, you're trading against the overall trend if you go long here, but you do have a little bit of upside on above this VWAP. So it's, again, this is what would be considered a counter trend trade, but on the SPY super system, if you've got room to the upside, you can actually do that. Again, you want to, if you get in here on the SPY, on the Qs, on the SPY super system, you get the VWAP here. If it closes below the VWAP, you just get out. Stays above the VWAP, then you can ride it for a little bit and see where it goes. Again, remember, we're in a bearish day, so be aware of that. And we've been compressing a lot, so and again, it's fighting to hold this VWAP. Better entry, of course, would be if it closes green here above the VWAP. Then you'd have a little bit of conviction that this bounce has been confirmed.
Remember, this is a quick market update. Markets are seeing a small bounce off of lows. We mentioned earlier when we were watching this fixed volatility index how we were hitting that key technical resistance level. Since then, that VIX went from 1845 and currently trading at 1691. So we are seeing a little bounce as volatility is slowly easing off of.
So on this Q super system trade here, this would be a good time probably to exit this thing, if you don't want to try to wait it out. Because again, the market's bearish today, so you're fighting the trend here. But again, I'm just watching the VWAP and see if it can just pop above there. If it does pop above there, I'll just grab some quick profits and get out, and then see what it does from there. Again, we get a candle, a green candle, and now compression again. So. Again, not a good day for trading. It's really a good day, as Alexander said, to just kind of sit on your hands, because there's just not an awful lot going on here. We had a nice drift down, but you've got to be fairly nimble to get in and out of these trades. Again, a little bit of a bounce here off the VWAP. Pretty small candles though. Tiny candles. Very low volume. Just not much driving the market here at all. Again, it's been sort of a trending day on the bearish side, but this bounce here, we had a decent bounce in here, and this was a decent candle, but again, we haven't seen much here as far as follow through is concerned. And again, if you're in any of these buy super system trades from now, today, use Monday's expiration. You'll cut down on your time decay during these compressions. Momentum's hanging in there blue, but this is a pretty flat market. And basically my recommendation is don't be trading right now. But again, I'm trying to point out the SPY super system. It typically is, you can have decent results even on crummy days if you trade it well. Meaning follow your criteria, don't chase. Watch this VWAP very closely. You notice it pulled down below it, but it didn't close below it. It's closed right on it. Now it's pulling in a little bit. It's a pretty nice time to get out of this Q long. If you're in this Q's long, this is again, we just closed below the VWAP. Should be out now. We still got blue on the current time frame momentum, so you can't short it. Well, you can. You shouldn't short it though. Right, so I'm just kind of trying to talk you through these trades. There's really not an awful lot to trade here right now, so not much to trade at all. This is just all compression. So my advice is don't trade right now. I'm watching Carvana for potential short. Needs to get below 213.97, 213.97 for Carvana, which then could be a decent short entry to take over the weekend. But again, the SPY has yet to been able to break below the 50-day moving average right down here. It can't get below there, so just really kind of sit on your hands today. This is just not a good day for trading. Just trying to point out a few trades as we go along here, but I'm not going to. Unlikely I'm going to take any more SPY super system trades unless I get a decent setup. This thing had popped up, the Qs had popped up through the VWAP, closed just above it, and then right now it's just drifting back down again. So this basically, if you entered here, you didn't really have a confirmation of this break. You would have needed another green candle right here, which we didn't get. Okay, so that's where we are. Not an awful lot to trade. It's about 11:45 Friday, and pretty dead market. QA, Costco looks like a good short. Thank you. Let's take a look at it. Yeah, it's down below, breaking below the 50-day moving average. Does look like a good short. Make a note of that one. Yeah, I like that QA. Frank, would I consider RGTI to be a doji sandwich setup? Let's see what it looks like this morning. No, not really. I mean, kind of. I mean, it is kind of it is a doji sandwich setup, but it's a the only thing with it with RGTI is it's a little extended from this 8. I would rather have seen a doji down in here somewhere as opposed to way up here. But this is a nice long. I mean, we had this yesterday. We traded this yesterday. Made a nice profit on it. It gapped up this morning, and it is putting in a doji right now. But you can have it on your watch list and wait to see what it does on Monday morning. See if it breaks green. If it breaks green above here, then it would be a decent entry. But I wish it wasn't quite so far extended. So, do I think there's a chance for the FI 210 calls, or am I hoping my ad after the gap down will offset the loss? Well, I'm hoping that I'm planning on the ad to offset the loss. It's offset some of it already, but I still like FI. Now, it all depends on what the market does. FI had a nice move yesterday, and it moved up into. If you look at FI on the daily chart, it moved up nicely into the gap here. You see this gap fill right here? It moved into the gap, but see where it is today? The market's dragging it back down again, below the 50, and right down to the 8 and 15. So I got to watch it. I mean, I have to watch this. We don't have an awful lot of premium left in the 213s that we've got. I do have some decent premium in my 210s. I mean the 200s. I don't have a lot in the 210. That's what we took. We took the 210s, and then I added the 200s. We got time on this till the 17th of January, but this candle today is ugly, but so is the market. I mean, it's basically trading with the market today, because there's a SPY right down to the 50-day. So, no, I still have, if the market gets bullish, stays bullish, I have, I believe that the FI can at least recover most of the losses, but we'll see. There's the Qs pulling down. Still blue here on the current time frame momentum, so this is not tradable stuff. The whole market's not tradable right now. Again, Carvana's a good short. QA just pointed out Costco is a decent short, which it is. Take a look at the daily chart here. See, daily you got yellow and red across the board here. Nice breakdown in Costco. So yeah, it's a decent. Costco's a decent short. It's on the TC 2000. I look at it here. I look at the 50-day moving average. That becomes my stop. If I get short here, I'm gonna get stopped out if it gets above the 50-day moving average and closes above the 50-day. Otherwise, I've got room down here to about 913, which is a pretty nice drop in Costco. Now these are expensive. This is an expensive stock, so your options are going to be extremely expensive. If you like it short and you'd like to take it, then I think what you might do is just take a put debit spread on it for next week, like a 935, 930 or something like that. I'd have to see what that looks like, but that would be my recommendation if the option puts that you'd want to go out for a few weeks are going to be too expensive, because they're going to be very expensive. In fact, let me look at the options on them. Options on the January 10th puts is trading at 935, so you'd have to go into the money. Yeah, they're pretty high. They're pretty widespread as well. 945 puts are 1680 by 1885, $2 spread. So pretty heavy. Now, if I look at the January 3rd put debit spread, 935 buy the 935 put, sell the 930 put. It's about 220. That's too much. I'd rather have it down around 190 or $2, because it's a 250 spread. And you might actually be able to get it cheaper because there's such a wide spread on that. If I take the 935, 925, it's 358. That isn't bad. 358 is not bad. Again, that's $10 spread. So you're talking about 35% of the spread. So that's on the Costco. That's what I would recommend if you want to, if you don't want to trade straight puts. Straight puts are pretty expensive. We have a little bit of bearishness in the market. You could take the 935, 925 put debit spread for about, well, I don't know what you'll get filled at. Let me look. $358. Yep, $358. It'll fill you at $358. That's a decent setup. Thanks for that. I appreciate the look on that one. QA, thanks very much. I think it's QA. QA Cooks. All right. Got a few questions here. Mendel. Question at 11:33 when we were at the VWAP. Okay, let's see which. Are you talking about the Qs or the SPY? I don't know. 11:33. Right here. Okay. Why isn't this set up for short on the Qs now that it bounced off the VWAP and the day trend is bearish? Well, the reason I can't take it short is because it was still blue and green here. The momentum was still showing bullishness. Now it's just shifted to bearishness here. So if you want to take a short, this is where you take it. If it holds below this 15 and this stays yellow or red, right? You've got to have the momentum in here. Remember, we're trying to trade with the institutions. So the price action looked pretty bearish for sure right here. If you could take this, you would have made a nice profit on that. But you're still fighting the fact that there wasn't a lot of selling going on. Why am I talking about it as a potential long? You're just trying to learn the system. Yeah, I was talking about it as a potential long because of this. Current time frame momentum, selling, buying, above the VWAP right here, closed above the VWAP. All right, so that's a tentative long entry, but you really want to have a confirmation. In other words, it needs to close with another green candle above the VWAP, and it didn't. So it's just moving sideways. So this kind of negates that trade. So if you're in long here, you're out here. You're not waiting for this. You're out. It's out as soon as it closes below the VWAP. Now to go short, this is what you need. You needed to switch to yellow, which it just did. Now this is a short setup right now. Right, pop out of the box to the downside, breaking below the 15, and yellow on the current time frame momentum on this candle. This candle hasn't closed yet, but this is a short setup on the Qs. But again, this is a crappy day for trading it, so just remember, be aware of that. And use tomorrow's for Monday's expiration on the Qs here, if you're taking the Qs. And make your position small. Don't take a lot of risk here, because you can see how choppy the market's been. this is a short setup on the Qs right here. Again, it's a pretty big candle, so if you got in early, you're in pretty good shape. If you're trying to catch it down here, it's more problematic. All right, let me go back to the questions here on this setup. The indicator, what that indicator represents, Mendel, because this is the current time frame momentum, right? So this is the momentum that's being calculated as far as what the institutions are doing to the best of our ability to come up with whether they're long or they're short. And you notice they're all over the place here today, but in the volume's low, so it's also, you have to take that into consideration. It's a low volume day. These are not really high probability trade setups. But as soon as this thing goes to yellow, that means that the momentum level, which is being measured, this is not including divergence. This is just strictly momentum. Is showing in this particular case, the oscillator goes from 0 to 100. This is showing a breakdown below 80, and it's sloping down toward 20. Once it gets to 20 or below, it'll switch to red. If it moves back up again, if it switches back up and it's moving, it's above 20 and moving toward 80, this would go back to blue. That's the momentum indicator that's telling us what the institutions are doing. Roger, do I look at relative volume or high volume when selecting the right stock? Well, I actually, when I'm looking at a stock to take, I do take volume into consideration. On my TC2000, I've got a thing called volume buzz, which tells me if a stock is trading above or below its average volume. And if I've got two stocks I'm looking at, they both look good, like bullish, I'm going to take the one. Technically, as long as the setups are both good, I'm going to take the one that's got higher volume. Today, its volume buzz would be higher relative to what it usually trades. GES good short. MDB as well. Yeah, GES is a decent short. 1371, yeah, it's a nice, been breaking down pretty good. MDB as well. Yeah, yes, MDB is also a really good short here. This is it right here. MDB. MongoDB. Here's your support at it right there, 225.94. Or $10 to the downside. And GES. Guess, yeah, that's a Guess apparel store breaking down. See that breaking right below there. Not much support on this thing. You have to go back a good long way to find support. In fact, it's below their support too. Yeah, you'd have to go way back in time to find a different decent support level for this. See all this compression, all this congestion right around in this area, right here. But that's way back in the 2020. Yeah, that's a good short. Costco's a good short. Again, I said because the options are so expensive in Costco, if you wanted to take a 935, 930 or a 935, 925, that's a decent put debit spread on it that expires next Friday. In the Carvana, I have an alert set on Carvana to try to take puts on it if it closes below this 213.97. All right. Again, about 12, coming up on 12 o'clock. John, where are the people getting the instruments they are mentioning to me? The stock. Well, they're probably looking at scans. I mean, I've got a bunch of different scans in here that you can use. And if they're using other scans, like I use TC2000, I've got a bunch of scans on TC2000 that I use. If I show you what my TC2000 scan looks like, it's probably going to look like a quagmire. But the way I do this is I just run one scan, and then every one of these columns up here is a condition. So if I'm looking for a particular condition, like in this particular case, I'm looking for a stock with a volume surge for today. All right, I'm just going to pull this up to the top. This is going to tell me all the stocks that have having a volume surge today, and then I can go take a look at those. If I just pull this back over here, if I click on those, it's going to show up on my TC2000 chart. Let me move my TC2000 chart over here, because I've got multiple extremes. So here's some of the stocks that are showing up with heavy volume. Go to IMAX, HOUS, HLT, and I look to see what the technicals look like on this thing. All right, there's COMM, but and I've got columns across the top that look at volume buzz. They look at stocks that have Heikenauer reversals. They look at stocks that have PBOs, pull back to the upside, pull back to the downside. All of those things, and I just have check boxes in there, and then I can just take a look across and identify some stocks that look pretty good, and then I do a little bit deeper dive into them. And everybody, most likely, who's posting stocks that they like are getting them off of some sort of scan. Q's bouncing, you can see here. Roger gets his from the 90-day lows on major stocks. Yeah, there's a lot of things you can do. You can look for. He's looking for stocks. This list right here is new yearly highs, and he's looking at 90-day lows on major stocks. And the Qs, of course, right here are now still yellow, but breaking down a little bit. Again, we've got a lot of chop today. Not a highly recommended day for trading at all. Good day to sit on your hands, look at some charts, try to develop some, understand like how the super system works, because that's all I'm trying to do today is just explain it to you. On some days like this, it's going to be really difficult because it's just going all over the place. But I do want you to see what the criteria is, and these things are really accurate. They really are accurate. Again, the win rate on this thing right now is about 89% this month so far for me on the trades that I've taken. So it's been really good. But you got to be very careful. You have to be cautious. Again, on this type of a trade here, you get in here, you got to get out right here. You can't be trying to hang on, because again we don't have a lot of the same colors across here. You can see the momentum's going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That tells you that there really is no good trend to the market to even trade right now. Yeah, remember the SPY was floating around the 50-day moving average. It broke below it here, briefly. Briefly, it's below it. It's still below it right now. Again, the 50-day on the SPY is 592.61. 592.61. So up in here. So it carried below the 50-day. It broke below the 50-day here. Now, is that gonna offer resistance now when we come back up again? We have to wait and see. And the Qs will react to that too, by the way. You see, they broke down. The SPY broke down. SPY bouncing a little bit. Qs bouncing a little bit. So again, very difficult to trade today, but right now I would be leaning toward the short side. And again, volume's low, so that's going to impact the market. So anyway, it's coming up on 12 o'clock here. So for too long, I'm going to take some lunch. QA, it is QA. Thanks, QA. I appreciate that. My eyes aren't that great. Looks like the SPY broke below the 50, as you just mentioned. Yeah, it did. It did. But it actually, and it had some volume that pushed it through it, by the way. So, again, I'm looking at the volume candles on my TC2000. That candle on the SPY was one of the biggest of the days as far as volume was concerned. That's one thing you want to also notice when you get a break of a support level. The fact that it's had big volume. Here's the candle that broke the support on the SPY 50 right there. And you see this white candle down here. I call them white when they have above average volume. And you had a lot of white ones here this morning as we were selling off, and then we kind of flattened down, and then we got a big white candle here, and followed by another one, telling you that this drop was pushed by above average volume, which leans you more to the bearish side right now. I hope that little bit of information helps a little bit. On a day like this, it's nice to interpret all the technicals and everything, but we're talking about a low volume day. For most people, this is a good day not to trade. I mean, because you might get chopped up. For people that trade all the time and they're professional at this, you can make money on a day like today, but it's very difficult just because you've got so much contradiction in the market as far as what's going on. This is really a lot of garbage. When you've got signals like this that are going back and forth between the colors, then you don't have any really good trend. That means there's really not a lot of trading going on. But there's enough to drive the market down a little bit. And I do like the Costco setup that was mentioned here a little bit earlier. By QA. It's a good short. They're expensive, and in this market, frankly, on a stock like Costco, it's $900. So you're going to have to pay a couple $1,000 for puts, even for just 2 weeks out, 2,000 or more for an in-the-money put. I think it's more prudent to do a debit spread on this thing, a 935, 925, risk about $300, and if you get a move on that thing, that 300 could go to 600 or 700 next week. If it goes against you, you lose 300. But if the stock bounces, your losses on the debit spread obviously are going to be way less than they would be if you were taking straight puts on it. In that Costco debit spread, the 935, 925, whoops, there goes the SPY. 935, 925 was going for about 358 when we talked about it. Right now, that Costco debit spread is going for about 398. So it's up over 10% right now. Q is breaking down again. Again, bearish day here. We definitely have a bearish trend day after all this compression that we had for so long. We had all this compression here for a while, but we are breaking down now. But anything can reverse pretty quickly. Good day to eat lunch. Alright, somebody got any more questions here? Is I gonna get ready to eat here in a few minutes? Nope, everybody kind of quiet. Again, choppy. Break down here. Now just kind of chopping away. Again, you want to see it break down. And it started to break down below here, the lows of these candles, but it bounced right back up again. Again, SPY still down below the 50-day moving average. SPY's got some support at 589.77, about $1.80 away or so. Triple Qs don't have any support till about 508, about $10 lower. Q's trying to break down. the Q trade working out all right here. Off of here, if you get in somewhere up in here, even if you get in down here now, it's actually pretty good. But again, this is definitely a short setup on the Qs. But if you don't really want to be entering down here, this is kind of a long way away from the 15. You want to look for a bounce, and then trade it. If you want to trade today, again, I would recommend against trading today. This is not a good day for trading. Got a bearish, definitely have a bearish trending day, but there's a lot of bounces that are gonna drive you crazy if you're in a trade. Alright, so I'm gonna get some lunch. I'm out of my Q trade right now. I just took profits in the Q trade. It could keep on going down, but again, I'm gonna stop and eat, so I don't want to be watching it every second, which you really have to do on the SPY Super System. You've got to be very cognizant of what's going on. You need to watch the chart, and as it continues to pull down here. But I had decent profits on that, so I'm gonna take them and go eat. All right, so thanks everybody. Appreciate everybody being here today. We had some YouTube folks watching. I appreciate that. And I'm going to stop and get something to eat. I hope everybody had great holidays. And again, we'll have the YouTube feed up and going again on Monday morning around 11:15. All right. Thanks very much, guys. Appreciate it. And girls. And I'll close that down now, and then I'm going to get something to eat.